You'll also see, tilt up, that she has on her face a hands-free device called the Define that is treating her nasolabial fold, labiomental fold, and jawline. Come over here, I'll show you the Define. Again, a bipolar array, zoom in, that's treating her nasolabial fold, labiomental fold, and jawline. It has the same temperature array as the Transform, gets us to 43 degrees, and it will give fat destruction, if you need fat destruction, if you treat for 30 to 40 minutes. If you just want skin tightening, usually we treat for about 15 minutes. You can't kill fat at 43 degrees in 15 minutes. You get a submental device for submetal fat, and again, it's a bipolar array, positive and negative. RF flows 1 million cycles per second between, let me get it where you can actually see it. And if you can zoom in on that. This is the submetal array, and you have positive and 2 negative. RF flows 1 million cycles per second between the positive and the negative. This is for the submetum. You get a hockey stick type array for the jawline and the neck. So what does that all mean? Let's go PowerPoint on both sides, Chuck. This patient is sitting there getting treated. I can leave her alone, or my technician can go to another room and generate revenue while this Transform is treating her skin, her fat, and her muscle. Typically once a week for 6 weeks, and then a maintenance of once every 3 months forever and ever and ever. Each electrode has a sensor. Each sensor measures temperature 1,000 times a second. We want to get to the red, yellow, and orange, over 40 degrees. It alternates with EMS between skin tightening and fat destruction. So a very highly engineered product. When you're killing fat, you had better tighten the skin. That's why the Morpheus is great. You get FSN and dermal remodeling, or the Quantum gets FSN. When you kill fat, like with my Cool Sculpting, sometimes I get that wiggly jiggly belly. Or I get a cutoff between where the cooling stopped and there was no cooling. You don't get that with heat because you're going to get skin tightening and fat destruction synchronously. So when you shrink a fabric, you better tighten the skin. What's happening under that Transform is the skin gets to 43 degrees and it stays there for 45 minutes, optimizing dermal remodeling. That RF travels into the fat, half the distance between the electrodes, so a centimeter or 2. And after about 3 or 4 minutes, when the skin's 43, the fat is 44 to 45 degrees. We know from fat studies that apoptosis, whether it's M-Sculpt Neo or TrueSculpt from Cutera, the no longer Cutera, or Evolve X, fat dies apoptosis at 44 to 45 degrees for 45 minutes. The problem with most companies is they can't maintain that without burning the skin. So what do? They cool the skin. Well, if you cool the skin, you're not going to get dermal remodeling, and you may get laxity when the fat dies. And so this is the ideal product because it maintains the dermis at 43 degrees, as you can see from her machine. If you tilt over to the machine there, young man, she is at 43 degrees. Zoom right in on that beautiful big screen. I sound like Trump. Beautiful big screen. It's a beautiful big screen. And look at that temperature. It's 43 degrees, but there ain't no burn. It doesn't get to 44 or 45. That would be a burn because of exquisite InMode temperature control, like the Forma V, like the I, like the Forma, 1,000 times a second. That's being measured. Now, the skin cuts off at 43, but the fat can warm up. There's no cutoff in the fat, and it's usually 2 degrees warmer than the skin.